This is Ryan, also known as MrMightyMcD, and this is a first look at the Xbox Live Arcade game, The Baconing, an action-adventure role-playing game developed by Hot Heck Games and published by Valcon Games. You play as Deathspank, the ultimate dispenser of justice, destroying Anti-Spank and his minions before they cast an evil shadow over Spanktopia. The story is pretty ridiculous, and so is the title of this game, but The Baconing is not too bad. When you're dropping the game for the first time, the first thing I thought was how unique and how good this game looked. From a technical standpoint, it's not spectacular by all means, but the bold outlines and flat environments are something to be appreciated, as there isn't many games that look like this, to be honest. It stuck out instantly, but there are some problems with it graphically. First off, the screen is cluttered in places, and health bars of enemies are quite hard to see in the heat of battle. It doesn't help either that the battles and the combat itself are quite lackluster, to be honest. You'll most likely be circling around enemies, occasionally hitting them, and it just feels stiff. It makes sense in that Deathspank is wearing quite a lot of heavy armor and he's going to be quite slow, but isn't that fun? The face buttons A, X, B and Y are used for your weapons, whilst the D-pad is used for your items and health potions. It's a little bit confusing what is health and what isn't. If you played the first Deathspank game or the second one, you'll know what is health and stuff, but if you haven't, like me, it's a little bit confusing. I mean, there's an item which is a tuna fish, sorry, and I wasn't sure whether that was health or that was going to be a projectile, because this game is so strange. I couldn't even tell what health was at first when I died until I saw a massive red bar at the bottom. Now, you could say I was stupid for not seeing something like that, but I thought it was some kind of energy bar or power meter or something of that means. And I understand that the Baconing's menus and all that kind of stuff are trying to be different from most RPGs, but there's a reason why a lot of RPGs use the same systems. That's because they're good, and here it's not that good. But for all its strangeness, it carries the humour very well. The humour is one of the strong points of this game, and the amusing and fun voice acting is something that worked really well, especially with the NPCs, surprisingly, and Deathspank sounds really good too. You'll be talking to little green aliens, boys that try and convince themselves they're girls, but you can just reply they're a girl anyway, and you'll be talking to cows. Yeah, you'll be talking to cows. This game is strange. But talking to these characters is probably one of the best parts of the game, and it's actually really fun hearing what Deathspank has to say, or choosing what he has to say with the different types of responses you can choose. And it helps that there's a rich art style and there's unique designs for these characters. It's just that the gameplay seems to be pushed back. It's too cluttered to points and confusing, and I couldn't believe why they wouldn't simplify something like this, especially since this is the third game in the title, in the franchise, sorry. It would have helped if it was simpler. I mean, there isn't even a proper tutorial in The Baconing. Deathspank will just occasionally tell you in battle how to block and how to charge weapons. It's terrible, it really is, and it really could have been done better, because the game is quite tough too, and you need that kind of stuff right off the bat. You'll use health potions quite a lot in this game, and you have to take enemies from a distance and block a lot too. And the game does feature a two-player co-op play mode, but it's not online, it's only locally, and that sucks in a way, because it would have helped if I could have played this online. I understand it's a trial, but playing this on co-op probably would have made sense. This game does seem like it's more for a co-op audience, and it would have helped with the progression of the game, and playing this co-op probably would have been a lot of fun, because there's a lot of collectibles in this game. There's a lot to like in this game, with its humour and stuff, and to keep you going on. And the stuff you collect does seem pretty interesting, but when you try and find out what it is, when you go in the inventory menu, it's just cluttered as hell. It's overwhelming as well. Cluttering is pretty much the main problem with this game. So for 1,200 Microsoft points, is The Baconing worth it? I'll probably say most likely, if I'm honest. I mean, it sounds like I did bash the game, but all these problems, you'll probably get over it. I mean, if you can forgive the combat, if you can look into the humour, the art style, the interaction with the characters. In here, it seems like there's a pretty beefy long game, because the trial, which was quite lengthy, and it was only 960 megabytes. So you'll probably find something you like. There's few games that do action and RPG genres mix well and do humour well, and The Baconing is good. It just has flaws mostly with cluttered menus and poor tutorials. But once you get behind that, The Baconing is a pretty fun game. I'll give it a go. It might surprise.